G'day guys! So today's video is an unbox and build of the Schumacher Cougar LD3 two-wheel drive buggy. So I have decided to finally, after so many years of racing, update my team associated B5M buggy. Yes, that's right guys, I have been racing a old B5M buggy for 11 years, and I ummed and ahed about and thought about updating my buggy a while ago, and I didn't really bother. However, I did recently do a race event in Sydney where I raced my B5M, and that was its last race, and I only broke one part. I broke a suspension arm. Unfortunately, I had spare parts, but I came to the realization that it's time to update because you can't get parts for it anymore. And so I decided to go with the Schumacher Cougar LD3 M version, and I'll get to that why. But I decided to update it, and I was partly influenced by the recent IFMA Worlds two-wheel drive championship win. But those who know me well know that I am a sucker for a good deal. So I found this kit on the Metro Hobbies eBay page, and it was on sale for 619 Australian dollars. I'll put that down, what that is in US currency. And I also had a $30 voucher, which brought the price down even more. So I virtually pimp slapped the buy now button, and now I have a new kit. So rather than just stand here like I always do, flap my gums, let's go over to the workbench and we will have a look at it. Alright, so here it is guys. The Schumacher Cougar LD3 two-wheel drive buggy. Now like I said, I got the M spec or mod spec, so that's this one right here. So it comes in three variants. You've got the mod spec, the stock spec, and the dirt spec. So obviously the dirt spec is more catered to like dirt and low traction surfaces. It has a slightly different gearbox configuration. I went for the mod spec. It is the mod spec is for more high traction applications, so carpet and so forth. And the reason why I went for this one is my local track is oiled, so we pour I think it's vegetable oil on the track. And if you've ever watched drag racing where they spray prep on the track and you watch like officials and that walk across, you hear the it's real sticky. That's what my track is like. Plus, because this is more centered to or focused on carpet tracks, this will be come in handy for when I go and race at the St. Ives track in Sydney, which is carpet. So let's have a quick look at what we get in the box. So we get obviously all the parts. So it comes with their own Lexan body. Then as you can see, we have the rear wing here and all the parts, certain parts. It comes with wheels but no tires, so you will need to, and obviously they've done that because some people like to run specific brand tires and so forth. I will be using these for when I race at St. Ives, so I'll be buying some carpet tyres for this, but for the first run you'll probably see this on dirt tyres. So, but they look like a nice nylon, which means I can dye them different colours. So we got our shocks, we got our oils and grease. That's a nice touch, comes with some grease. Not sure, what's that? Lithium grease. Okay, so it's a lithium grease. Got some spacers here. I would assume that they're for shock absorbers or shock spacing and so forth. So the shock towers are like a fiberglass, fiberlight material. Probably get some carbon ones later on, but we'll see. Looks like it looks like a tool by the looks of it. Not sure, but that's what we get there. Some more chassis parts and suspension parts and bearings, obviously, because this is a full-on race chassis. What do we got here? Rear shock option parts for the Cougar LD3. So obviously I'm guessing this is an option part for tuning. I will read the instructions beforehand. And we have our chassis plate. We have some window masks, some Go Fast stickers, and obviously the all-important instruction manual. What's the instruction manual like? Is it 3D CAD? Not quite, but looks pretty good. Oh, what have we got here? Okay, so by the looks of this here, we have a revisement slip here. So I'll have a look at that. I'll just carefully place that there. But I mean, it's a nice manual, but it's not 3D CAD. But oh, that is very nice. All right, so I will have a quick gander at the instruction manual, and what I will do is, like I always do with these builds, is I will have my camera set up over there and have it set on time lapse during the build. So through the magic of editing, we'll go to time lapse. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. build is done. And I know you probably noticed in the time lapse you didn't see the full end of the build. So what I usually do what I do in these time lapse builds is I'll build about 90% of the chassis, and I will leave things like wire soldering and body painting and cutting out and all that niggly stuff right at the end off camera. I don't bother doing that, so I do most of it on time lapse that you see, and then I will, like I said, do the other stuff off camera, and then we'll be at this stage. So went together pretty well. Couple of tiny little things, very minuscule, that I thought was a bit frustrating, but nonetheless, it was a really good build. Being my first Schumacher build, I wasn't sure what to expect, but like I said, it went together really well. So let's head over to the workbench and we'll have a look at the finished buggy. And here it is, guys, all done, all painted. Now, with this kit, it does come with wheels. These are not the wheels that it comes with. I forget what brand these are, but as you can see, these are dirt tires. I'll be using these to begin with. So like I said, the build went together really well. So the paint scheme that I've done, this is my race scheme. So it is Tamiya Lane Flake. It's that glitter that's backed with black, and Proline Pearl Purple on for the sides. Very simple paint job. That's just my racing scheme, simple and unique. And went together really nicely. I do like that the wing comes pre-cut. For those wondering, it actually comes with a J Concepts shell, and yeah, I enjoyed it. One of the things that I did find a little frustrating with the build, when you are putting the diffs in, it comes with like egg-shaped, I forget what they call them, but it's what the diff sits on that slides into the diff housing, and you have different ones that come with different heights. Wasn't very well explained how to identify which ones are what, and so I just went with what is for the low diff setting. And I have noticed that there's a slight click noise in there, so I don't know what the go is there. I'm going to have a look at it later. Other than that, it went together really well. So what I'll do is, I haven't, the body is held on with Velcro. I've really just in the last hour finished painting this, so I haven't put the Velcro on the body, just on the chassis itself. But we'll take the shell off and I'll show you what I've used to finish it off. So now, some of you might be wondering why I chose these electronics. Purely because I had them, they were in my old B5M, and I really didn't see the need in going out and buying all new electronics when just transferring what I had into this is the easiest option. So up the front here, I am using a Reedy RT1408 low profile high voltage servo for steering. Worked fine in my B5M for years, so I felt no need to get a different one. For speed controller, I am using my trusty Tekin RS Gen 2. This one, it's kind of a spec, it's not the spec version, but it has I think it's an 8.5 turn limit, which is more than enough for my racing needs. The motor I'm using is a Phantom Icon version 2, 17.5 turn. Yeah, great motor, plenty of power, plenty of punch. And for battery power, I am using a Gens Ace Redline with 6,000 milliamp hour high voltage shorty pack. These are great batteries. I've recently gone to Gens Ace battery power. I have one for one of my other cars, my speedrun car. Works great, so I've got a couple of these for my off-road cars. They work fine. Over here I'm using a futaba. So turn it around this way so I can read, because I can't exactly read upside down. It is futaba R31 4 SBE antennaless receiver. So that means I will be using my futaba 10px radio. That is the radio I use now for my racing. So, like I said, everything went together really well. One of the cool features I like about this buggy is the radio, I guess you call it the radio tray here. It's removable, so makes servicing pretty easy. If you need to clean it, you just there's a screw there and a screw there. You undo those screws, that comes out. Take the motor out, and you can give it a clean. Just make sure that your servo is waterproof. Now, what I have done here is I've got an offcut of Lexan and made a simple transponder mount out of an offcut of Lexan from the body, which was like a curve shape. I have it like that because even though at my local club it'll pick up fine, if you have a metal chassis at St. Ives track, it has a little bit of an issue picking up, so they recommend that you raise the transponder up so it can get the signal out over the transponder loop. So that's why I have the transponder like so. Now, because I run in the stock, will be running it in stock, I am not using the kit supplied spur gear, which is an 80 tooth spur gear. So obviously, that spur gear is too big for 17.5 motors. So what I have done, and if any of you are building one of these kits that want to run it in stock but don't necessarily want to run the Schumacher spur gear, the associated / Kimbrough spur gear will fit onto this. The slipper pads fit perfectly onto it. So this is the Kimbrough 69 tooth spur. It will fit on, however, you will need to enlarge the hole. So obviously these are designed for the associated buggies. However, with a body reamer, you can ream the hole out to which needs to be 5 millimeters, and you can ream that out to 5 millimeters, and it will sit onto the output shaft for the transmission. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. So if you have a heap of those spurs laying about, you can use those. Just remember that you need to use a
a body reamer to ream it out. And I recommend that you use a body reamer. You could use a drill. However, with a drill, if you've got, like, this is a 5mm drill, if you go to drill it and it's offset somehow, like offset by 0.5 mm, instead of the spur turning around nicely, it'll be, spinning like that as it'll be offset. Don't ask me how I know. But so I do recommend that you use a conical shaped body reamer and to ream it out to 5 mm, and like I said, it sits there perfectly. So it's all built, it's all done. I did one thing I will point out, which I thought was a little bit odd, with the screws here on the top of the shock caps. You need to drill a hole. Now it says a minimum of 1 mm and a maximum of 1.9, so I used a 1.5 mm hole. You need to drill a hole inside. I thought that was a little bit weird, them doing that. It is what it is, but I just thought that was weird that you had to drill your own holes. But it's no big deal. So on the whole, guys, it is a nice buggy. It was great to put together. Obviously, you'll be wondering now, when are we going to see it run? Well, it'll probably be a little bit of time before we get to see it run. It probably might be a practice day, might be on a club day, I don't know. I want to make sure everything is fine before I put it on the track. So what we'll be doing is I will be doing 2 videos of this to see how it goes. One will be at my local track, which is dirt, and the next one will be at St. Ives, which is carpet. So I'll have to get some carpet tires for it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you have any questions about the buggy, about the electronics that I've used, or if you got any tips for me, I'm all ears. But until the next video, guys, enjoy your hobby and cheers.